If you're a new player to Pokemon Go or you're picking up the game again after many years, here are 10 tips that you need to know that will jumpstart your gameplay and set you off on the right path to become a top trainer. Let's get right into it. Okay, the number one tip and the first thing I tell everybody, honestly at any level, is to catch everything. Too many trainers I see out there picking and choosing, saying, oh, I don't like Pidgey, oh, I don't like Rattata, I want to catch Dragonite, I want to catch Moltres. Catch everything you see. The reason I say this is because catching Pokemon, first of all, will get your catching medal up, it will get you XP, it will get you candy for Pokemon, it will get you Stardust, which you need to power up Pokemon, and you never know the IVs of a Pokemon until you catch them. So when I say catch everything, I say use every single Pokeball you have on every single Pokemon you see. Now, obviously, if you're running low on Pokeballs and there's a cool event coming up, you could wait and then catch the Pokemon during the event. But honestly, consistently catching is the best thing. Remember, Pokemon Go is a marathon, not a sprint. You just want to be consistently catching Pokemon. You don't want to just go too hard on one day. But you know that 1, 2, 3 Pokemon you catch every day? It adds up. Now, when it comes to catching, there is a technique that will allow you to actually catch Pokemon faster that honestly a lot of pro players don't even know. And that's going to be the quick catch technique. Now on screen, I put a video of how to do this technique, but it pretty much requires you to either grab the Pokeball tray or the berry tray with one of your fingers, and then use the other finger to go ahead and throw the Pokeball. Once the Pokeball hits the Pokemon, you can let go, that tray will open, and as you can see, the run button will still be available to click. This is because once a Pokeball hits a Pokemon, the game's already decided whether you catch that Pokemon or not. So instead of watching the ball shake 2, 3 times, whatever, you can just run from it. All of that data has already been registered. You can check your storage, see if you caught that Pokemon. If you didn't catch it, you're obviously gonna have to do this technique again because it's not guaranteed to catch the Pokemon, but this will allow you to catch Pokemon quicker. If you watch some of the top players in the world, they use this technique to catch over 30 Pokemon a minute, and I even caught 1,000 Pokemon in an hour using this technique. Get to practicing it now. I know it's really annoying and you're gonna be like, I'm really bad at this, I'd rather just catch Pokemon normally, but I'm telling you, the quick catch technique is something you wanna master and will become essential to your gameplay. Now, as we're talking about catching and catching skills, I do wanna say start practicing your excellent throws. As a new player, you're gonna need XP, and the number one way to get XP in Pokemon Go is to hit excellent throws. There are other techniques you can do that are a little bit less skill-based, but every time you hit an excellent throw and catch a Pokemon, that's 1,000 XP. Obviously, you can multiply that with 2 or 3 times catch XP events and using items like Lucky Eggs, which will double the amount of XP you gain. Actually, the most amount of XP you can get from a single catch is 9,000 XP on a 4 times catch XP event with a Lucky Egg by hitting an excellent throw. So I know it's annoying as a new trainer, hitting an excellent throw is gonna be really hard and it's gonna take a lot of practice, but you wanna get started now. As a new trainer, try to hit those excellent throws. I always tell trainers, don't worry, just focus on grabbing the Pokeball, trying your best to go ahead and hit that excellent throw. If you miss it, no big deal, but over time, you're gonna learn the circle size, you're gonna learn what the Pokemon's habits are and how to hit those excellent throws. It's much better to do that and fail 1,000 excellent throws in a row than get a bunch of great throws, because the amount of XP you get from excellent throws is so worth it. You'll be skyrocketing up levels once you master excellent throws and get better at them. I'd much rather you hit 1 excellent throw out of 10 catches than hit 10 great throws out of 10 catches. So focus on your excellent throws and catch everything and use the quick catch technique. Let's move on to the next category. Tip number 4 is gonna be about what you save and starting to prep your knowledge of the game. Now, as a new trainer, a lot of information is gonna be coming into you. You're gonna be getting hit from people from your community with, oh, did you know this? Did you know that? Did you know you could do this? And I actually have a great video covering 121 Pokemon Go tips and tricks, which covers a lot of these smaller, minute tricks, which I highly recommend you watch after this video. But I think it is very important as a new trainer to start familiarizing yourself with the meta and what are the top Pokemon. And you're gonna see this, a lot of these tips are actually just mentioning starting to practice things that will help you in the future. So I wanna talk about 3 different Pokemon. Number 1, PvP Pokemon and learning what the best PvP Pokemon are. The reason this is very important is as a new trainer, you wanna know what Pokemon you wanna save, what Pokemon are good, what Pokemon are trash. At the end of the day, we only have limited storage, only limited Pokemon we can keep, and we don't wanna be just keeping everything under the sun. We wanna be keeping the top Pokemon. So I'm gonna refer you here to this website, pvpoke.com. It's very simple for new trainers. It is fully about Pokemon Go, but it will show you the Great League, Ultra League, and Master League. These are gonna be the 3 PvP metas, and it'll show you literally broken down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the top PvP Pokemon. Now, I do have to note, as a new trainer, technically this is not, end all. It doesn't mean because you have Carbink, Registeel, and Annihilate, you're gonna win every single PvP match, but this will give you a good idea of the top Pokemon in PvP and which ones you should be keeping and catching and transferring the rest. So I highly recommend you check this website out, go to Ultra League and go to Master League. Now, I will say if PvP, Pokemon Go PvP does not interest you, if you've seen people battle in it and you're like, this is not for me, don't worry about this, transfer those Pokemon, you don't need them. Now, the second website here I'm gonna refer you to is PokemonGoHub.net, the top raid attackers of every single type. In here, you can go on this website, I will link these below, and it'll show you the best attackers for every type, poison type, ground type, rock type, etc. And I highly recommend you familiarize yourself with this. I don't think you need to study this and complete thing, but go through it, because then, next time you're out hunting and you see, oh, there's a Weedle there, let me catch that, because that could make a great Mega Beedrill, which is a good bug type attacker. Final thing I'm gonna mention is gonna be shinies. Familiarize familiarizing yourself with what shinies are in-game and what aren't. If you don't know, in Pokemon Go, not every shiny is released like in the main series games, and Pokemon Go will slowly release shinies throughout events. Now at this point, I think we have over 500, 600 shinies in-game, so there's still a lot to catch, but familiarizing yourself with different shinies that are not available yet, something like a Tandemaus that's not available in shiny yet, is very good. Now to do this, we're gonna go to Cerebi.com. I'll link this below, but it breaks down every single shiny available Pokemon in Pokemon Go. You can literally scroll. It even shows you the costumes, which are pretty cool. You can see what exclusive costumes have been released. But yeah, if you want to know if any Pokemon have been shiny released in Pokemon Go yet or not, this is the place to come. And if you don't see the Pokemon that you potentially think could be shiny on there, yeah, it can't. I've seen like so many new players who are like, for example, like doing Zacian raids, and they're like, oh my god, I want shiny Zacian, I want shiny Zacian, and you're like, no, it can't be shiny yet. You're wasting your money. Again, as a new trainer, I understand there's a lot of info coming in, and fully studying this is completely insane. But just going through those websites, getting familiar slowly with Pokemon that are top meta, it's going to be very useful to you over time. Okay, let's talk about something that new players need, which is friends. Friends can be so useful in Pokemon Go, and the reason being is adding friends allows them to send you gifts, which you can open to get items like Pokeballs if you need Pokeballs and you're in a rural area. They can also invite you to raids, and you can go ahead and level up your friendship level with them to get the huge friendship bonuses, which can get you huge amounts of XP. However, I don't recommend getting friends with anybody. This is the number one thing I see people doing. They join a Discord group like my Discord group or some sort of other Discord group and just add friends around the world. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. At the end of the day, I have plenty of friends who are from Australia or Paris, and there's different advantages to that where they can invite you to remote raids when it's not in your time zone. But I think the majority of your friends list should actually be local friends. Let me explain. If you don't know local friends you can add, level up with, and it's actually going to be a lot easier to level up your friendship with them because you'll probably be interacting with them more since they're in your rural area and you're going to be playing with them more often. But also, once you hit best friends, there's actually this thing called lucky friends. Now, once you become lucky friends with the trainer, you can go ahead and do a lucky trade, which a lucky trade has a 1 in 64 chance of giving you a Shundo. Now, a Shundo is the rarest Pokemon in Pokemon Go. It's a shiny Pokemon with the perfect stats, the perfect IVs, 15 of each. And there's a 1 in 64 chance when you do a trade. But obviously, if your friend lives in Paris, you can't trade with them because you have to be within 100 meters to trade with a trainer. So always add local friends. 85% of your friends list, in my opinion, should be people that live in your city or like outside of your city that you can interact with. And obviously some people, their communities are small, but if you live in any city, I don't think adding 400 Pokemon Go players that are active is going to be too hard. But the question is, how do you find them? Well, in my opinion, the best way right now to actually find friends and groups is actually Campfire. Yes, Niantic's actually upgraded Campfire a decent amount here, and you can go ahead and come here to the Campfire map. If you don't know, Campfire is an app, by the way, you can go ahead and get, and you can sign in through your Pokemon Go account, and it'll actually show you all of the raids in your area. So for example, I'm here in Ottawa, I can go like downtown and see like, oh my god, there's an Aggron raid here at Camera Hydrant. And you can even join the chat in the Aggron raid and be like, yo, is anyone joining this? But instead of doing that, the best thing to do is go straight to the source and join the local group. You'll know their local groups by seeing these little icons here, and it's gonna show you, hey, Pokemon Go Ottawa, there's a group right here in Ottawa with 3,320 members. I can go ahead and click into the group, and then I can join it. And now I'm in the group, and you'll see different things like meetups that are going down, rules and information, general chat if I want to go ahead and chat with the general people in this group. This is by far the best way, in my opinion, to find local groups because you'll be able to find the different people in your area specifically and the actual active trainers who are chatting. Then once you're in those groups, of course, you can ask for their friend codes, make friends with them. At the end of the day, joining a community is the number one thing you can do in Pokemon Go. It is a game that unfortunately, to get better and quickly accelerate, playing with friends is essential. Things like raids, especially legendary raids, can only really be done with big groups. So you want to find your local group, your local trainers, join them, make friends with them, because you're just gonna have a much better time playing the game than if you were to play it solo. So check out Campfire, go ahead and see if you can find a local group in your area and join it up, and let me know how it goes. Now, one thing Pokemon Go does have is currency. So I want to talk about the local currency, which is going to be Pokecoins in Pokemon Go and how to get them. Now, obviously as a new trainer, you're probably not really going to be spending money on the game. You're still trying to figure out if you like it or not. I don't really know a lot of new trainers who spend money on the game because they're still learning the basics. But you can still get Pokecoins and you can still use them through gymming. Yes, gymming in Pokemon Go every single day. If you defend a gym for 8 hours, if you drop a Pokemon in there for 8 hours and it gets knocked out, you're gonna get the max of 50 coins. Yes, free Pokecoins. Now you can do this every single day. So if you drop a Pokemon in, it stays in for 8 hours and someone knocks it out, you'll get 50 coins, and that will stack up over time and over time. If you do that for a year, I think you're getting over 13,000 Pokecoins or something like that. Insane. So definitely worth trying to do your gymming. But this is why it goes back to community and joining a community. There's a top strategy that new trainers can take advantage of, which is coordinating your gymming, especially if you live in a rural area where there's not a lot of trainers. If you drop into a gym in the morning and then you tell your buddy John, who's on the other team, Team Instinct, Mystic, or whatever, just not on your team, he can go knock you out of the gym and then you'll get your 50 coins. He can stay stay in the gym for his 8 hours, you knock him out, and then he'll get his 50 coins, and you guys kind of like work that gym together to grind those coins every single day. The reason you do this is because honestly, it's really hard to drop Pokemon in gym and just hope that it stays for 8 hours, and then you just hope that someone knocks it out. There's also a rule that if you actually have 2 Pokemon in gyms and they both stay for 8 hours and they both get knocked out on the same day, you'll still only get 50 coins. So try to coordinate with your local group. Try to make sure you're getting those 50 coins every single day. When you do get those 50 coins though, I do want to say, don't spend on raid passes, don't spend on items, don't spend on temporary things that you'll get one of. Spend it on upgrading your item bag storage or your Pokemon storage space. Now, in my opinion, I always tell new players, Pokemon storage is not the best thing to upgrade. Item bag space is better. Reason being, bigger item bag is more Pokeballs you can hold and then more Pokemon you can catch. Like I mentioned at the top, you want to be catching everything you see, so you want to have the biggest item bag to hold the most amount of Pokeballs, so you don't always have to be going and restocking. And this leads us into tip number 8, and that's because you want to know how to clear your storage efficiently. And this is why I say this. You can go ahead and transfer Pokemon anytime. You can always make more Pokemon storage space, but you can't always get more Pokeballs. If you're in the middle of nowhere, I can transfer Pokemon if I need storage space, but I can't just make a Pokestop appear and spin it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and link below a video that will completely break down how to manage storage in my opinion, but I think it's very important to know 2 things as a new trainer. Number 1, don't look at CP. There's a lot of trainers, when you start, you're like, oh, this Pokemon is a really, really high CP, it must be strong. You want to start looking at IVs. The top players in the world will always look at the best IVs, and then they'll power up their Pokemon to a higher CP. If you don't know, Pokemon can be powered up all the way to level 50 in Pokemon Go. Granted, as a newer trainer, you might be more capped to level 30 until you reach a higher level. But once a Pokemon is level 50, they'll always have the same CP. So every Pokemon could theoretically have a very, very similar CP. But the difference between those CPs, the small numbers, is going to be the IVs. So it's always best to look for the Pokemon with the highest attack, HP, and defense stats. But it's technically not that simple because there's actually 2 different types of IV sets you want. Now, if you're using a Pokemon for raid attacking or in the Master League when there's no CP cap and you just want the strongest Pokemon, obviously what we call the Hundo or the 4-star, which is going to be 15 attack, 15 defense, and 15 HP IVs, is going to be the best, and that's what you want to go ahead and keep. Sometimes you have to be stingy though, and you have to go with something that's like very close to a Hundo, but it's not. Anyway, you're looking for high IVs. But when you're looking for PvP Pokemon for the Great League and the Ultra League, this is going to be very contradictory. You actually want low attack, you want no attack stats, high defense, and high HP. Now, this is because that Pokemon can be powered up to a higher level before reaching the CP cap, so it's actually technically going to be bulkier. I'm going to link below a video explaining that in depth if you really, really care about that and really want to get into PvP, but just know those are the 2 IV sets you're looking for. So when we go back to those best PvP Pokemon and best raid attacking Pokemon we talked about, for the PvP ones in the Great League and the Ultra League, you actually want low attack, high defense, high stamina IVs, versus the other guys, you actually want Hundos, 4 stars, the best possibles, 3 stars work as well. Any IV set other than that though, you can go ahead and transfer, get rid of. Creating a strong Pokemon Go account does require time, so be patient. You know, sometimes you're gonna be like, I have no good Hundos, I have no good PvP IV Pokemon. Take your time, play the events, catch everything, again, catch everything, and you'll end up getting good ones. Finally, tip number 10, in my opinion, is going to be take advantage of events. As a new trainer, your account level is gonna be low and you might feel demotivated if you compare yourself to other trainers. There's one way you can fast track your account, and that's gonna be play events. When you're playing a non-event time, you're catching a Pikachu, you're getting 100 XP, 100 Stardust, it's not bad. But when you're playing a community day with has 3 times catch Stardust or 3 times catch XP or 2 times catch candy, you're fast tracking your account. So you wanna make sure you take advantage of any event with a bonus that will help you out. Especially those XP events as a newer trainer, if you wanna fast track your XP, playing those 3 times catch XP, 4 times catch XP events, it's gonna be huge because think of it, it's like you're playing a non-event 4 times at once. Also taking advantage of premium items on these events like Lucky Eggs and Star Pieces, which will get you even more XP and more Stardust. You're gonna get so much value out of those items because the XP is already tripled, and now you're using a Lucky Egg, so now you're getting 6 times XP versus using a Lucky Egg on a non-event where you go from 1 to 2 times XP. Not as good, right? So save your items, save your instances, save your Star Pieces, save all those premium items that you get from research rewards or whatever for events. Follow my channel here because I do cover every single event in Pokemon Go and the top tips you should be following and when you should be using those items or not. Anyway, guys, watch the video below. That's 121 Pokemon Go tips and tricks that can get you started and get you a good knowledge of all the little intricacies and little tips you can do in the game. But those are, in my opinion, 10 tips that every new trainer should know and should be following. Let me know what you think, and welcome back to Pokemon Go. Follow for more tips. Peace.